This is every family's worst fear when a loved one works as a police officer and does not come home safely after their shift.
A Toronto police officer dies while on duty. A service in shock, overcome with sadness.
Tonight, the very public display of grief and the outpouring of support, how the veteran officer is being remembered. Good evening. A large procession gathered to honor the police detective who served 14 years on the force.
It's believed he died from a medical episode after executing a search warrant this morning. CTV's Mike Walker joins us live tonight from Humber River Hospital with the story. Mike.
Well, Michelle, Natalie, Detective John Park was a member of the hold-up squad and a father of 2 young children. Tonight, he's being remembered for serving the city with courage and a great sense of duty. A policing community in mourning. Officers line the road and salute the procession carrying Detective John Park's body from Humber River Hospital to the coroner's office. His grieving family following behind after the veteran Toronto police officer died of a suspected medical episode while on duty this morning.
There's no words to express the sorrow that we feel right now.
Park was executing a search warrant with other officers for a robbery at an apartment building in the Jane and Steeles area when the incident occurred. He was rushed to hospital where he was pronounced dead. Police did not elaborate on the type of medical episode.
We are aware that there is some speculation about a potential exposure to narcotics. We have nothing to believe that it is related to narcotics exposure.
Flags outside 31 Division have been lowered. Park was 40 years old and a 14-year veteran with the force and was a member of the hold-up squad.
And today's just a tragic day, but we stand together to support the family and the colleagues of this brave officer who served in our hold-up squad, which is one of the most elite units.
This is heartbreaking news just before Christmas.
Fighting back tears, Deputy Chief Lauren Polk said Park is survived by his wife Tina and 2 young children, 9 and 5 years old.
This is every family's worst fear when a loved one works as a police officer and does not come home safely after their shift. Detective Park was a wonderful and loving father, and he was appreciated by everyone who knew him at the Toronto Police Service.
Mayor Olivia Chow says she's heartbroken by the officer's death.
My heartfelt condolence go out to the officer's family, friends, and colleagues during this painful time. We deeply appreciate the work of our officers and the work they do every day for our city.
Premier Doug Ford offering his condolences in a statement that reads in part, "It's a sober reminder of the need to always stand with our women and men in uniform who work tirelessly every day to keep our community safe." Toronto Police didn't provide any further details on the robbery investigation. The deputy chief says the force's focus right now is doing everything they can to support Detective Park's family. Reporting live on Mike Walker. Michelle, back to you.
Thank you, Mike. Meantime, the work of the Toronto Police Service continues. Today, detectives on the scene of a homicide in Scarborough.
A man shot and killed early this morning. CTV's Janice Golding is at the scene tonight near Markham Road in Eglinton and joins us live with the latest. Janice.
Hi, Natalie. Despite the fact they have very little details as to exactly what transpired here, people in the Scarborough Village community tell us they are very alarmed about the fatal shooting overnight.
Have the window open, so I had out like this, so the sound came really clearly into here, you know. Okay. And I didn't know where it was because it sounded like a jackhammer, like that loud.
Velma says she was getting ready for bed when the shots rang out just outside her bedroom window on the first floor. Terrified, the Toronto woman ran to her bathroom.
Because that was the only place that didn't have any windows.
And how long did you stay there?
About 10 minutes or so, until I heard the sirens.
Resident after resident in this Toronto community housing building at the corner of Markham and Eglinton describing the sounds of gunfire.
It felt as if it was actually a heavy drilling.
It was a big sound.
This woman says she was in her upstairs unit when the shots rang out.
So when I looked out the window, the shots were already done. He was at the corner here and just took a few steps there and dropped. The hardest thing I've ever to witness.
Police say they received reports of gunfire just before 12:15 a.m. When they arrived on scene, they found a man with multiple gunshot wounds.
Police right away, a few minutes later, ambulance. I think the ambulance covered him pretty quickly. Like he was deceased there. He died on scene.
Emergency responders performed life-saving measures, and the victim was rushed to hospital via emergency run, where he would be pronounced dead.
I was in my bed minding my business. I just saw the lights. The officers is the ones that woke me up because they were loud and they had all the dogs all over the place.
Neighborhood residents very shaken by what happened in their community.
It's scary. And sometimes, you know, you have to wonder when you leave your house if you're going to get a chance to go home back.
It's sad in this world today that there's so much violence that's happening. It's very sad.
And the suspect or suspects are still at large. This is Toronto's 83rd homicide of the year, and of course the homicide unit has taken carriage of the investigation. Reporting live, I'm Janice Golding. Now back to Michelle.
Thank you, Janice. And for the second straight night, Durham police were called for reports of multiple shots fired at a residence. Officers were called to the area of Haverhill Crescent in Whitby just after 1 a.m. for reports of a person with a gun. When police arrived, they found 20 shell casings. There are no reports of injuries.
Still ahead on CTV News, a tumultuous week on Parliament Hill is not over yet. The Prime Minister is set to shuffle his front bench tomorrow. We go to Ottawa for a preview of the shakeup.
But first, a live look outside on this Thursday night. We are into minus territory now, so keep that in mind for all your outdoor evening plans. Looks like a whole bunch of folks enjoying the lights at Nathan Phillips Square, and it's a good thing that they are moving because you're going to need to create some heat. It's very cold. Also of note, Environment Canada has issued a winter weather travel advisory. We're getting a dose of snow overnight and into your Friday morning. CTV's Jessica Smith joins us live from Markham tonight, where no doubt snow will add to that festive vibe, Jess, but it could also make for hazardous driving conditions.
It can, right? It's that double-edged sword when it comes to winter weather. Yes, it looks really pretty when you're inside, but traveling in it, not so great. And it's also really challenging when it comes to such a busy travel weekend. So keep that in mind as you make your way out and about this weekend. But we are down here in Markham for a really special reason for Toy Mountain. But we'll have more on that in a moment. We're talking about your forecast. Right now, just cloud cover out there, but the snow is knocking on the door and it's prompting those winter weather travel advisories. Yes, it is cold. We've dipped below seasonal and this trend isn't going anywhere as we head into the weekend. Right now, we're at -1 through the islands, through Pearson, and as we head into this evening, the snow begins overnight and carries into the day tomorrow. So whether you're traveling for the holidays, maybe you're heading into work, whatever you got to do tomorrow, take your time because the roads are going to be a little bit slippery. More on your full forecast coming up, but we are obviously down here for a reason as we get to celebrate another amazing Toy Mountain campaign, and it has been pretty cool down here. There's a carousel, we're having a great time, but I want to start with news. I'll get you to introduce yourself and where you're from.
Hi, my name is Cindy and I'm from Markham, Ontario, and I'm here with our Love Like Afton organization in memory of our nephew and our little cousin Afton Taylor, who passed away 5 years ago.
Now, you guys have come together for a really special reason to donate toys. Why is that so important to you, to give back to the community and to kids in need?
It's actually very important to us, and like I mentioned, it's part of what Afton was very special for, and he just spreading kindness to everyone, and especially for little kids who are in need this holiday season.
And it's a beautiful thing that you can continue sharing his story and his memory by giving to other kids, and we appreciate your donation so much. Thank you. And I don't mean to alarm you guys, but there's a dinosaur standing beside me. Not a real dinosaur, but that's okay. We'll do the two-step here. Can you introduce yourself and where you're from?
Yes, my name is Greg from Evolution Chamber. We're the #1 evolution chamber in the world, which is a personal training studio, and we're donating toys. It's not just us, it's our members who made this all possible. We donated over 300 toys, and it's Evolution season.
Listen, we love when people come together, and it doesn't matter where you're from, who you are, every donation counts, and thank you so much for coming together and coming in costume. I mean, dinosaurs are part of the holiday season, right? We are down here in Markham as we celebrate another Toy Mountain, and we're building a massive Toy Mountain! That's what I'm talking about. We got Shieldy here. We have all kinds of fun stuff going on. I'll have more on Toy Mountain and, of course, your forecast because the snow is on the way, but for now, I'll send things back inside.
Thank you, Jess. Well, his government has been in turmoil since the sudden resignation of his finance minister earlier this week, and now Justin Trudeau is set to shuffle his cabinet.
Sources telling CTV News there will be a number of changes tomorrow morning. CTV's Judy Trin reports.
There are big holes in the Prime Minister's inner circle. Since the summer, 9 cabinet ministers have stepped down or decided not to run again. But former Finance Minister Chrystia Freeland is staying in caucus after she quit cabinet before presenting the fall economic statement.
I, Dominic LeBlanc.
Freeland was replaced by Dominic LeBlanc as the country's chief financial officer. He was the Prime Minister's last-minute choice. At a news conference, LeBlanc said former Bank of Canada Governor Mark Carney will not be replacing him anytime soon.
He told me that I was going to be the finance minister in his government until the next election, that I was going to be the finance minister to present the next budget, and 2025 will be an election year. So that's the work that I'm doing. And again, I wasn't part of any conversations with Mr. Carney.
On top of his new role, LeBlanc remains Intergovernmental Affairs Minister and maintains responsibility for border security. But the role of Public Safety Minister will be given to someone else. Other cabinet roles that could be shuffled include housing, which was vacated by Sean Fraser on the same day Freeland quit, employment, transport, northern affairs, southern economic development, national revenue, and sport are also open. New faces are expected.
It's a chance to reward people, quite frankly, and it's a chance to improve their chances of winning their seats because they have a bit more stature and status.
The chaos in government is happening as a tariff war looms with the U.S. The former president of the Canadian Chamber of Commerce says the cabinet shuffle allows Trudeau to show he's still in control.
It's been disturbing that for the last 2 days, he's been largely out of sight. He's not been meeting with the media. He wasn't in Parliament for question period. And this is a way of asserting the fact that he's in control of the party, at least for the time being.
The priority for this new cabinet will be taking on the challenge of Donald Trump. He becomes president on January 20th, 1 full week before Parliament resumes. Judy Trin, CTV News, Ottawa.
Still to come on CTV News, as political pressure on the Prime Minister mounts in Ottawa, Liberals at Queen's Park are keeping close tabs on the turmoil on the Hill. Liberal leader Bonnie Crombie speaks to CTV News just ahead.
But first to Toronto City Hall, Mayor Olivia Chow says residents should expect another tax hike in 2025. She was pressed on the plan in a year-end interview on Newstalk 1010's More in the Morning today.
I have to ask for a third time, are you going to have to raise taxes?
Well, because of inflationary increase, we have to be able to pay the police and the TDC.
Right.
I'm.
Is that a yes? Service, but I don't have a figure.
The service, I don't have a figure.
Okay.
Yeah. Just it'll be in mid-January. You know, we have to pay for services. If not, we just borrow money. That's not who I am. No, we pay for what we have to do. And we inherited, as you know, John, last year, $1.8 billion. Because of the New Deal, we're climbing out of the budget hole, but we still are not completely out yet, right?
Okay.
So we have to get better investment from both the federal and the provincial government, and we're very thankful for all levels in supporting the city.
Next year's tax hike will follow the historic high increase of 9.5% that the Chow administration imposed in 2024.
And this afternoon, the mayor was on hand to break ground on a new housing development in Kensington Market. The project at 35 Bellevue Avenue will include 78 new homes for people experiencing or at risk of homelessness. Construction is expected to be completed by the end of next year.
The City of Toronto has opened a new warming centre at Metro Hall as part of the winter services plan for people experiencing homelessness. The centre will be activated at -5 degrees Celsius, and when a winter weather warning is issued, the site will feature 30 spaces for those in need.
Folks can just come down to Metro Hall and we'll be able to support them in our warming center. If we are at capacity, we will be supporting with transportation and space at another warming center or shelter that's available.
It comes as part of a 10-year strategy to build shelters across the city and provide necessary supports to those in need.
For the first time in weeks, Canada Post is now accepting new mail, but only for domestic delivery. Also starting today, small business customers can now drop off parcels at all Canada Post facilities. The Crown Corporation says mail is being processed on a first-in, first-out basis and reminds Canadians they should expect delays into the new year as it deals with a backlog of letters and parcels. Canada Post will start accepting new international mail on December 23rd. Employees return to the job Tuesday after being ordered back to work.
Well, she has been at the helm of the Ontario Liberal Party for just over a year now.
As 2024 comes to an end, Bonnie Crombie is reflecting on the past 12 months, the turmoil facing the federal Liberals and her plans for the future. CTV's Queen's Park Bureau Chief Siobhan Morris reports.
People have lost the dream of owning their own home.
Looking back at 2024, the word that comes to mind for Bonnie Crombie?
Challenging. So for me personally, there was a large learning curve.
Year one on the job as Liberal leader. Her popularity as mayor of Mississauga hasn't carried over to provincial politics as she'd hoped.
I got to get used to this.
But she says this has been a rough year for Ontarians, too.
No tax relief, no access to family doctors, crumbling schools, and no homes to be built.
Despite those knocks, polling has shown Doug Ford's Progressive Conservatives likely to form a third majority government.
People aren't focused on election time, electioneering right now.
Crombie believes Ford is benefiting from relentless advertising campaigns, some using taxpayer money, and support for the federal Conservative leader. But she doesn't believe the unpopular Liberal Prime Minister is dragging her numbers down.
Not at all. I'm a different leader. I've distinguished myself in my positions from the Prime Minister. I've spoken out against the carbon tax.
With Justin Trudeau's leadership under attack, Crombie will only say the Prime Minister has a lot to think about.
But you're not one of the people publicly calling for him to go.
It is not my place to publicly call on the Prime Minister. It is his own decision.
She says the turmoil in Ottawa has left premiers jockeying to fill a leadership void in the face of potential tariffs under Donald Trump.
Here in Ontario, not only can the Premier not get the basics right for Ontarians, he's threatening punitive measures.
Like cutting off electricity, having the LCBO hold off buying American-made booze. It's a tumultuous time, complicated by the possibility of an early election next year.
I'll have the opportunity to share with them our platform and tell them that in 4 years, they'll have access to a family doctor, that their taxes will be cut, personal income taxes by $100 a month, and that we will remove the HST on their home heating and hydro bills.
But after 6 years relegated to third place, not enough seats for party status in the legislature.
What does the measure of success look like for you in this election? If, you know,
winning. We play to win. I want to make that change for Ontarians so badly. I want to give them that choice.
When that opportunity to choose may come is still unclear. Siobhan Morris, CTV News.
There is now an independent body to review applications of wrongful convictions.
The statistics, from my perspective, are actually quite startling. And the statistics point to a situation where we know that the justice system is strong. I agree with James on that. But we know that the justice system makes mistakes.
Multiple people have been exonerated in recent decades through the help of advocacy and nonprofit groups like Innocence Canada. The federal government is seeking to rein in what it calls a miscarriage of justice in criminal trials. It expects to receive more than 200 allegations of wrongful convictions in the commission's first year.
The man suspected in the killing of United Healthcare CEO Brian Thompson is now back in New York to face charges.
We frequently extradite people to Blair County and send people to other states in the regular course of business. At any time, a defendant can change their mind and decide to waive that, which eliminates the need for that habeas hearing. And that's what happened today.
Luigi Mangione agreed this morning to be extradited during a brief court appearance in Pennsylvania. A judge then ordered he be handed over to New York police. He's been indicted on charges of murder as an act of terrorism.
A warning now that some of the details in this next story are disturbing. 51 men have been found guilty after a French woman was drugged and sexually assaulted by her husband and others over nearly a decade. CTV Jean-Viet Beauchemin reports.
Those words of gratitude on court steps greeted Gisèle Pellico, a victim and now an image of bravery around the globe. Pellico's former husband was found guilty of drugging and raping her in the home where they had retired in the small village of Mazan, France. He also recruited dozens of other men online to rape her, and this for over a decade. Encounters he filmed and photographed. Dominique Pellicot, now 72 years old, was sentenced to the maximum under French law, 20 years in jail. His lawyer, Béatrice Zavarro, said they have yet to decide whether to appeal. The 50 other accused were dubbed collectively Mr. Everyman, truck drivers, a firefighter, a prison guard, a journalist. They were handed sentences ranging from 6 to 9 years.
Je n'ai jamais regretté cette décision.
Gisèle Pellicot said that while this trial was a painful ordeal, she never regretted the decision to open its doors to the public. She waived her right to anonymity, pushed for shocking evidence to be heard in open court, insisting, as she famously said from the start, on making shame switch sides to the accused.
We need to remove the burden off the victim, and we need to focus on who's causing harm and how do we better support men and boys so that they don't become future perpetrators.
Protesters from far and wide gathered in the town of Avignon for the trial. They denounced the sentences against most of the men as too light. But they also expressed hope there would be a before the Pellicot trial and an after for victims of sexual violence. It's a hope Gisèle Pellicot shares too, telling other victims, "We share the same fight." She also said her thoughts were with her children and her grandchildren, who are the future and the reason she waged this bruising battle. To supporters, this mother and grandmother is now the symbol of an ordinary woman who took back control, turning it into an extraordinary picture of empowerment.
For Gisèle Pellicot and her children, who once thought they had a loving husband, loving father, they now face the immense task of rebuilding their lives. Geneviève Beauchemin, CTV News.
New research suggests our closest celestial neighbor is older than previously thought. It's long been believed the moon formed more than 4 billion years ago after a Mars-sized object smashed into Earth and created our natural satellite. Now scientists at the University of California, Santa Cruz think the moon may be more than 100 million years older than that. The new study suggests it formed earlier and then experienced a dramatic remelting event at the time other scientists had assumed it was first created.
Here on Earth, it roamed the land millions of years ago, predating the dinosaurs. This fearsome-looking creature is believed to be the oldest saber-toothed animal ever found. It was the dominant carnivore on land during its time. Some were as small as cats, while others were as big as polar bears. Scientists say they vanished about 252 million years ago.
Coming up on CTV News, the push to find big dogs a home. Often overlooked in favor of smaller breeds, the search for a suitor can be particularly rough. The holiday incentive to fetch big hearts for big pups still ahead.
We are down here for a very special reason, for the CTV Toy Mountain campaign, but I want to get to your forecast first because it has been so mild really up until today, and now we've noticed that extreme cool down, and the cold air isn't going anywhere as we make our way in towards the weekend, so make sure you put on your layers. Coming up, I will have your full forecast, but we're obviously here for a really, really special reason, and we're talking about CTV's Toy Mountain campaign that has been going on for 29 years. Now, Mr. Mark, welcome. I want to talk about your donation because your group has come together in a really special way. Talk to me about where you're from and why you wanted to do this.
Well, it's the Agincourt Rotary Club. We've been doing this for well over 15 years. Our donation this year is for $10,000, and the reason...
A round of applause, everybody.
Thank you. And the reason we do it is we're trying to bring smiles to people's faces. It's a great time of year for a lot of people. For some people, it's challenging, so if we can put a smile on some people's faces and help them out, it's very great for us to do. So, yes.
Your donation means a lot, and we are so, so grateful. We'll get that check to Miss Erin. And I'm here with Rex from Raptitude, a very cool name. You guys have a massive donation. You guys had bags of toys. Why did you want to get involved?
Yeah, this is our first time to join the Toy Mountain, and then we are very happy to donate 140 toys and 1,000 in cash. And then this is our first time to do it, and then we are so proud of doing something like this.
Listen, we appreciate you guys coming and sharing your time, sharing your donation. I'm going to do a little do-si-do over this way to Miss Lena from Go Girl. Now, you guys aren't new to donating. What is the difference this year? I know the need is always growing, but what's the difference?
The difference this year, well, we're always really happy to be here, but we know that there's so many people that are in need. We've got an amazing community. We're pretty fortunate, and we just want to help out. We know that we're all in this together, and to be able to help other people and kids in need has been really special to us. We've been doing this for 5 years, and we'll continue to do it as long as we're going in business.
We love to see it because we're building a toy mountain. Coming up, we'll have more on your full forecast. We'll have more from Toy Mountain. Don't go anywhere. We have so much more to come from Markham. For now, I'll send it back inside.
We are in the final stretch of our Toy Mountain campaign. Tomorrow is the finale, but tonight...
The magic of the season is on full display in Markham. Jessica Smith is gathering with the community at the Pride of Canada Carousel. Jess, it is a cold night out there, and there is snow on the way, but I can tell you always dress for the weather, seeing lots of toques and even some Santa hats out there to stay warm tonight.
A couple of Santa hats, also snow pants, gloves, and some really good boots help. And we are down here at the in Markham at the Pride of Canada Carousel for Toy Mountain, and we're having so much fun. But the weather is a factor for us tonight, and the snow is on the way. So as you plan your Friday, I know a lot of folks are maybe off, they're getting ready for their weekend. You're gonna have to factor in some of that snow. We're at -2 right now, feeling like -5, but Northern Ontario, bitterly cold. Tonight, we don't see much of a change, but the snow does roll in as we get kind of through the early part of our evening and in towards midnight, and then it carries into the start of the day tomorrow, so keep that in mind. I guess the good news is, temperature-wise, we don't change all that much, but it is going to be quite breezy, so that adds into the mix when it comes to making it challenging to see. We're looking at that kind of clipper system making its way through, prompting the special weather statement for the travel advisory, the snow squall watches and warnings in those standard places along that eastern shoreline of Lake Huron, and for us here in the Golden Horseshoe. Just take your time as you head out on the roads tomorrow. Again, as that clipper system pushes through, it brings with it the wind and the snow, and then as we head in towards your Saturday, it clears out, but it gets bitterly cold for us here in Southern Ontario. So again, as you approach midnight, a few flurries make their way through, and it carries into that morning commute tomorrow for a lot of people across the GTA. Downtown, we're looking at maybe 2 to 5 centimeters. The further west you go, closer to 5 to 10. But it moves out just in time for that evening drive and your Saturday morning. Lots of sunshine out there, but it is going to be absolutely freezing. So layers on layers on layers. As we head in towards your Saturday, again, -8 as we welcome in the winter solstice. So yes, although winter did technically begin on December 1st, the winter solstice begins on Saturday. Those flurries for your Friday, though, to jump back there, are going to start to taper off as we head into the early evening, so making for a bit of an easier commute. A chilly weekend ahead of us, and then as we head in towards our Monday, the cloud cover sticks around, and then we watch for another chance of flurries on our Christmas Eve. The likelihood of a green Christmas, we're at about 50-50 right now because it gets relatively mild Christmas Day. And then as we head in towards what is going to be, I'm sure, a busy time for a lot of people, well, it is going to get a little bit mild, so any snow that we do have is likely to melt. But we are down here focusing on the spirit of the season, and we're looking at what is going to be a really fun evening. Now, we're down here in Markham. We have some pretty fantastic donations. I don't mean to toot our own horn here, but it is pretty exciting. Now, Aaron, you're here on behalf of a number of different groups, but talk to me about this fantastic check that you guys have here from the Lions Club.
Wow, so I'm here with the York Region Grace Lions Club with some of our president and some of our members here, and we ended up raising $500 for this great cause. Whoa, yeah!
Listen, every single dollar helps. Why is it important to you guys to get involved? I know this is not a new thing for you. Your club does a lot for the community here in Markham, but the need obviously grows every year. We see more and more families needing a little bit of help this time of year, and Christmas is just so special for so many people. Why is it extra special for you guys this year, especially to get involved?
Well, the most important thing is this: the community is growing, right? There's lots of needs for toys, right? Times might be tough sometimes, but you know what? That's why we're here. We're here to help, we're here to give back, and make everybody's Christmas a great Christmas.
Listen, that's what I'm talking about, a great Christmas, because we're building a toy
mountain!
That's what I'm talking about. I have another fantastic group here, the Unionville College. I'm going to pick a representative over here. I'm going to sneak right in here. Can you tell me your name, please?
Hi, my name is Henry. So we're from Unionville College, and this year we've donated, raised $1,000 towards Toy Mountain to ensure that all kids are able to have a great Christmas.
Listen, it takes helping each other out to make the holiday season special. Yes, we are donating toys and we're collecting toys, but it's about the spirit of giving of this season. Thank you guys so much. Guys, we have lots of money being raised here, and it really is super exciting. I want to bring over Erin for a second here. Now, obviously, we're getting into crunch time, Miss Erin, but I want to know if people still want to donate, can they do that?
They absolutely can still donate. All night tonight here, we're going to be down here at Pride of Canada Carousel, and the Remington group here, Alexandria and Christina, they help us so much to make this event possible, and we'll also be collecting donations tomorrow. It's the final day at any of the drop-off locations, malls. You'll find them on the toymountain.ca website.
And I want to go over one more time. You mentioned a little while ago, because we've been doing this Toy Mountain thing for a minute now, that parents have the option to pick the toy that really suits their child. Is that something new or something that you guys just really focus on to make sure kids get the Christmas that they want and deserve?
Yeah, so I wouldn't say it's new. It's been happening over the last couple of years where we want to give parents the autonomy to choose a toy that their child would like. So when they come into our locations, many of our locations are set up almost like a shopping store, and they can choose a toy that has been donated from some of our amazing partners and groups here, pick it off the shelf for their own child and take it home with them. So it's really great.
You know, I love that. We're going to wrap off this portion of our programming this evening with the mayor. A round of applause for the mayor.
Hey, Jessica.
Mr. Mark Serapiti, nice to see you. Nice to see you. So tell me why it's important for you to be here. Obviously, Markham is a community that gives back to each other. They take care of each other. But why did you want to be a part of this? And what does it make you feel when you see all the people in your city doing their best to help each other out?
Well, you know, this is the second time that Toy Mountain has been to the city of Markham. You were here just a few weeks ago at CF Markville. So I think the fact that you're here twice speaks to the generosity of this community. And look at, we're here because we want to do all the good things for kids and families right across the GTA. The need is great this year, so if you haven't dropped off a toy, please drop off a toy. There's 70,000 kids that need toys this year, and that's a big demand, but I know that here in Markham and right across the GTA, people come forward, they'll step up, they'll make the difference, and I'm so proud of this community. And Merry Christmas to you.
Merry Christmas.
And Happy Hanukkah. Enjoy.
Exactly. You know what? This is what it's all about. People supporting each other, caring for each other. Thank you so much for being a part of this. We have more on Toy Mountain, because guys, we're not done yet building a Toy
Mountain.
We got some bass on that one. I like it. All right, we'll send it back inside. We have more coming up on your Toy Mountain campaign as we celebrate 29 years. We'll send it back inside.
Very good. Thank you, Jess. Coming up on CTV News, 99 years young and still very young at heart. Dancing Dick Van Dyke honored in Coldplay's latest music video, the touching tribute. Just ahead.
Tomorrow at 6, the anticipation is piling up as we wrap another season of giving.
A big round of applause.
And reveal the generosity of the GTA. Tomorrow on CTV News at 6.
A local animal shelter is looking for people with big hearts to take care of big dogs.
It's launched a campaign to find homes for these often difficult to adopt animals. Officials at Toronto Animal Services say large dogs like huskies, German shepherds, and American bulldogs often spend more time in shelters than smaller dogs. Today at the city's North Shelter, the dogs were given gifts and had their pictures taken to help spread the word on social media in the hopes of finding these pups forever homes. Animal Services are also temporarily waiving the adoption fees for dogs that weigh 50 pounds or more.
With larger dogs, it can be intimidating for some people. They may think that their space isn't big enough, or maybe they don't have enough time in their lifestyle to take them out and give them the exercise that they need. They stay in shelters like 1.5 times longer, 60% longer than other dogs of smaller sizes, and other animals in general. And we just really wanted to shine a spotlight on them because, you know, they're just as adoptable and just as wonderful as family members as any of the other animals.
Animal Services adds when they can't get these larger dogs adopted, it impacts their abilities to take in other animals that require their care. It's also important to note, animal advocates have long advised against giving pets as a surprise gift.
In the UK, animals at a London zoo got an early taste of Christmas today. Llamas and giraffes got into the spirit with a nutritious festive dinner. They snacked on edible Christmas wreaths made with carrots and leafy branches, and the giraffes enjoyed their treats as well, using their tongues to reach Brussels sprouts hanging inside canisters.
And in Australia, animals at a wildlife park enjoyed an early delivery from Santa. Koalas devouring eucalyptus leaves, while the kangaroos enjoyed a mixture of leaves, apples, and sweet potato. The park is home to more than 100 kangaroos, 35 koalas, and other native and international wildlife.
The Oscars have released their shortlists in 10 categories.
What is this feeling? So sudden and new. I felt the moment I laid eyes on you.
Wicked is one of the films leading the charge, landing 4 mentions overall for the upcoming 97th Academy Awards. Gladiator 2 was also among the top films, with mentions for sound, visual effects, and original score. Conan O'Brien will be hosting the Oscars on March 2nd.
Coldplay has released a new music video for their song All My Love.
You got all my love, whether it rains or pours.
The video honors actor and comedian Dick Van Dyke, featuring montage clips from his iconic movie career. Van Dyke is seen in the video showing off his dance moves while the band Coldplay's Chris Martin plays the piano. The Mary Poppins star turned 99 years old last week.
A giant sign of the year to come has arrived in Times Square in New York City. Literally, the 2-meter-tall 2025 sign is a major tourist attraction in the Big Apple and is made up of more than 600 light bulbs. It will be at street level until December 23rd, and then it will be lifted up to the top of One Times Square, where it will light up when the ball drops at midnight on New Year's Day.
After the break, Summer McIntosh home for the holidays. The 3-time Olympic medalist meeting with fans poolside as they celebrate her incredible year of swimming on the world stage.
Help with every wish list. Tomorrow on CP24 Breakfast, it's our holiday giveaway. Tune in for your chance to win goodies up for grabs. CP24 Breakfast, where Toronto gets its everything every morning.
And today's just a tragic day, but we stand together to support the family and the colleagues of this brave officer who served in our hold-up squad, which is one of the most elite units.
Updating our top stories now, a Toronto police officer has died of a suspected medical episode while on duty today. Detective John Park was executing a search warrant with other officers at an apartment building. He was a 14-year veteran of the force.
I was in my bed minding my business. I just saw the lights. The officers are the ones that woke me up because they were loud and they had all the dogs all over the place.
A man was fatally shot in Scarborough early today. It happened near Markham Road and Eglinton Avenue East. Residents in the neighborhood say they're shaken. There have been no arrests.
We have to pay for services. If not, we just borrow money. That's not who I am. No, we pay for what we have to do.
And it looks like Toronto residents are in for another tax hike in 2025. The mayor indicated today an increase will be necessary due to inflation and other budgetary pressures. A more exact number will likely be revealed mid-January and then would need to be approved by council. A 9.5% increase was imposed for 2024.
Remember to keep up to date day and night at ctvnewstoronto.ca and by downloading the CTV News app. And if you have a news tip, photos or video of breaking news, let us know.
U.S. stocks edged down today after a sell-off in the previous session, and Toronto also slipped. Andrew Bellavina in Bloomberg brings us the latest in business.
Hello there. U.S. stocks turned down in late trading today after rising for much of the session. That followed sharp losses yesterday amid fears that interest rates won't drop in the U.S. very much next year. Toronto also dipped as Shopify and CP Kansas City fell. One fear hanging over U.S. tech stocks is the worry that development of artificial intelligence, which has fueled the market this year, is about to slow as costs explode. Bloomberg says it's getting harder to find human-made training data to build more advanced systems. The CEO of Anthropic says it costs about $100 million to train an advanced model, and he expects that amount to hit $100 billion in coming years. Google's CEO says, quote, "The low-hanging fruit is gone. The hill is steeper." The Canadian dollar changed hands at 69.49 U.S. cents, up 1/5 cent. West Texas Intermediate oil was at $69.38 U.S. a barrel, down 64 cents. Our latest fix on Western Canadian Select oil, $56.16 US a barrel, up 54 cents. And the TSX Composite ended at 24,413.94, down just over 143 points. That's the latest in business. I'm Andrew Bell of BNN Bloomberg.
The Business Report is brought to you by Canadian Western Bank, the bank built for business.
Well, she is known around the world for her record-breaking performance in the pool. Swimming sensation Summer McIntosh is home for the holidays and tonight is being celebrated in Etobicoke.
Oh, it means the world when the kids come up to me and say that I've inspired them, and I just see the look in their eyes. It's so sweet, and that's really what keeps me going, and it's one of the best feelings in the world and why I enjoy what I do so much. And to be back at the Olympium as well is so nice because this is really where I started off my swimming career.
The recently named World Aquatics Women's Swimmer of the Year is the guest of honor at a meet and greet happening right now at the Etobicoke Swim Club. It is being attended by athletes, alumni, and other dignitaries. Summer McIntosh is a three-time Olympic gold medalist, world champion, and multiple world record holder. We'll have more on her visit and how she's inspiring young swimmers tonight at 11:30.
The Toronto Raptors will try to get back in the win column tonight.
RJ splits it double, and he throws it down.
The Raps lost to the Bulls on Monday, their fifth straight. This evening, they host the Brooklyn Nets, who have a 10-16 record so far this season. All-star forward Scotty Barnes will return to Toronto's lineup.
And Toronto FC will begin its 2025 schedule on the road for the 8th straight year. The Reds' season opener is February 22nd at DC United. They play the first of 17 games at BMO Field on March 15th versus Chicago. Toronto's final regular season match is October 18th when it welcomes Orlando to town. The MLS All-Star Game will be played July 23rd in Austin, Texas.
And was out of the play momentarily. A chance, Nylander in, scores! Breakaway goal for William Nylander.
William Nylander scored twice last night, leading the Leafs to a 5-3 win in Dallas. The Buds won for the fourth time in 5 games and are tied with Florida for first in the Atlantic Division. They're in Buffalo tomorrow.
Saved by Campbell. Another shot, and it's in!
The Toronto Scepters dropped their third straight game last night, losing 4-2 in New York. The Scepters head coach says his team needs to reevaluate itself amid a slow start to the season. Toronto also had a hard time getting off the ground last season before turning things around with an 11-game win streak. The Scepters host Montreal on Saturday.
Maybe outside there's not as much pressure, but when we get in between the walls of our locker, we have more pressure on ourselves than anybody.
Let's go! Meantime, the NHL has begun production on the second season of its all-access behind-the-scenes docu-series. Season 2 of Face Off Inside the NHL will premiere sometime next year. The first season had 6 episodes telling the story of the 2024 playoffs. It was released on Amazon Prime Video in October. The league says the show is giving fans a greater look into the lives of its players and their families. Jess.
We are down here in Markham for Toy Mountain. We're celebrating 29 years. I'm going to bring up one of my very special friends. We have lots of special friends here today. Mr. Mark, come on up here. Tell me where you're from and why you guys wanted to be a part of this campaign, because I know it's not new for you.
No, my name's Mike Poshar. I'm with Tar Team Real Estate, and we are just so excited to partner with FDM Contracting. It's the season for giving, and man, our community stepped up in a big way. A true Toy Mountain here, an incredible experience for us, and we're just thrilled.
Mr. Mike, we have done so much tonight to help our community here, and I feel like everyone really has done their part. Thank you so much. And we have a number of people giving, and we have another fantastic group. I'm going to say so long just for now. We'll say hi to all of our friends here. Mr. Howard, how are you? You're from IBEW, Local 353.
Yes.
Obviously, you are a veteran of donating toys, but why is this year extra special?
This year is extra special because there's a lot of people unemployed. There's a lot of unfortunate people who aren't able to give gifts for children. And we think that somebody should step up to the plate, and the IBEW believes in it all the time. We've given over $50,000 to all the food banks all across Ontario, from Midland to Trenton. And we just think that donations are the way to go to help the communities everywhere.
Listen, it takes just one person giving back to make a difference, and you guys have so many people here doing exactly that. I want to give a shout out to Let's Get Moving. They've got $3,000 worth of toys. We have every single community group here donating their time as we build a toy mountain. Coming up, we will have more on your weather on CTV's Toy Mountain and all the exciting stuff we are doing as we give back to our community.
I'm honored to be part of CTV's Toy Mountain initiative again this year. It's so important to raise awareness for our neighbors and our friends that might be having a tougher time by donating what we can to help those in need. I'd like to thank my friends at Sobeys for once again generously donating $500 worth of gift cards to families in need over the holiday season. I wish everybody happy holidays.
Well, we are now just one day away from our Toy Mountain finale.
But there is still time to help us finish off that Toy Mountain. Let's check back in with Jessica Smith, who's in Markham. Jess.
It's hard to believe it's almost over, but it's not too late to donate. And I feel like if you have the help of, I don't know, the Ghostbusters, it would be really beneficial. But I want to get to your forecast first, but I just have to give a shout out because the Ghostbusters are here. And I think that's pretty cool. But if you're fighting ghosts or the weather tonight, you'll need your layers regardless because it is pretty chilly out there. And we're watching for the snow as we make our way through the overnight. Now, it is going to be a messy drive tonight and into the day tomorrow. So give yourself that time for travel. And we have those weather travel advisories in place. -2 feeling like -5. And I'll be honest, it doesn't get any warmer as we head throughout the weekend. So layers are going to be key, but at least there is sunshine. Heading into Christmas Eve, a few light flurries, but a lot of it melts. So just keep that in the back of your mind. We're going to have a sort of white Christmas. But I have to get back to the fact that the Ghostbusters are here. Jimmy from the Toronto Ghostbusters, tell me why you guys wanted to be involved in this. Obviously, you're very busy fighting ghosts, but you guys are here tonight for a really special reason, and that's to help Toy Mountain. Why did you want to be a part of this?
Well, first off, we're so good at our jobs. You're not going to find a ghost in all of Ontario. So we got free time, and we're figuring, let's bring some smiles to people. People love us. 40-year-olds definitely love us. And we got plenty of toys and beautiful Ghostbusters here.
We do. So thank you guys so much. We appreciate it. No ghosts, but lots of presents. We have really quickly, Aaron, I know that you had a special birthday this year and you had some toys part of that for Toy Mountain.
Yes.
Why did you want to make your birthday about other people and giving back?
Well, it was a big milestone for me, 50 years old, right? So then I invited a lot of my friends and family, and of course Mayor Scarpidi as well, right? All 3 levels of government officials attended, and it was great, and all giving back, so making Markham even better and giving back.
I love it. Thank you to the mayor, thank you to Aaron, thank you to Jimmy from the Ghostbusters, and everyone who's donated. We'll send it back inside because we're building a Toy
Mountain.
That's what I'm talking about. I'll send it back to you.
Thank you, Jess. Thank you, Markham. Appreciate it. Well, that is it for us, but you can join Omar Setjanina tonight at 11 for CTV National News, followed by Zoraida Alman with your next local newscast at 11:30.
In the meantime, our coverage continues anytime on CP24 and online at ctvnewstoronto.ca.
For Jess Smith, the whole Toy Mountain team, and everyone here in the studio and beyond, that's it for us at CTV News. Thanks for watching. Have a great night.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
It takes a whole group of people to make things happen. So thank you for your efforts.
I'll make sure I get the pictures. I'll tag you as well.